Hello my friends and welcome back to Meerkat Musings. I'm your host Ben and I'm coming at you on a bright, sunny, warm June morning to lament the dismal performance of the England football team at the European Championships over in Germany. Now, we're 2 games in for England thus far, and so far what have we had? We had a nervous 1-0 win over Serbia, and then we had a tame and timid 1-1 draw with Denmark. Now, no disrespect to Serbia or Denmark, but England should be winning games like that. And I'm not suggesting that England should go out there and win 5-0 or anything like that, but we should be winning those games and winning them quite confidently, quite comfortably. We have the better players. Certainly, when you watch England's players at club level, you would agree that overall England's squad is very, very strong, particularly in an attacking respect. So why is it that those first 2 games have seen England play in such a passive, lethargic, tepid kind of manner? Is it down to the instructions of the manager, Gareth Southgate? Is he instructing the players to kind of fall back after scoring and go defensive? Is it the players themselves? Do they, for whatever given reason, freeze on the international stage? Is it a combination of that, perhaps? But whatever the reason, it's difficult to find an excuse for it. And ultimately, you would argue that the buck has to stop with the manager, with Gareth Southgate, because he's the one who chooses the tactical formation. He's the one who selects the players, and therefore he has to bear the brunt of the criticism for England's performances. He's not alone in that, because some of it does fall down to the players, who are capable of playing a lot better than they've done so far. But you have to look at the tactical situation, at the strategies employed by the manager, and perhaps also how they're executed by the team, and say that's where the problem lies. Now, I have no problem with how England have lined up in respect of the defence. I think they're the best options available for England defensively. I think the problem is with England's attacking situation, which is ironic because I would argue that England's forward lineup is one of the strongest in the world right now. But for some reason, Southgate can't extract from them what he needs, and that is very, very peculiar. I, of course, find it easy to sit on the sidelines and criticise. I am not in the pressure cooker situation that Southgate finds himself in, or the players find themselves in. And it is very easy from the sidelines to take little pot shots. But nonetheless, I'm entitled to have my say. I have borne witness to many, many kind of like half-hearted efforts by England down the years. I've seen some close things of England. I've seen some dismal performances from England. But one thing I've seen from England consistently is failure. We might on occasion have a good one in the tournament, but we still don't win it. And sometimes we are simply dismal in tournaments. Last time around at the European Championships, we got to the final, but we still lost. At the World Cup, in between these last 2 Euros, we were quarter-finalists, and we were knocked out as soon as we faced a top team in the form of France. That was it, we were gone. And this time around, if we make it beyond the group stages, which, to be fair, we probably will, I don't rate our chances against any of the big teams out there. Germany, France, Spain, they're all playing better than we are by a comfortable margin. I think that Portugal would overcome us as well. I think the Netherlands would overcome us. I don't think anyone has anything to be afraid of when it comes to England, because we're not extracting what we need to extract from our attacking players. When you look at the likes of Harry Kane, he was scoring goals quite freely over in Germany all season long. You've got Jude Bellingham, who for Real Madrid has been sensational, and he's demonstrated that he can play in various positions in the midfield. He can be a very good central midfielder, he can be a very good attacking midfielder and get forward and score goals. He's a wonderful creative talent. Phil Foden is another attacking midfielder who's been in exceptional form for Manchester City this season. And then you've got the likes of Cole Palmer at Chelsea, whose second half of the season is one of the reasons why he's in the England squad, because he was brilliant in the second half of the season, absolutely superb. You've got the likes of Saka, who is a good wide player. He can run with the ball and he can create chances. In Declan Rice, you've got a holding midfielder who is, without being exceptional, I would say he's a competent player. And there's a host of talent there for England to exploit, but for whatever reason, Southgate's not doing that, and the players themselves aren't pushing themselves to do that. And it's incredibly frustrating to watch. England were passing the ball so slowly at times against Denmark, and a lot of the time it was sideways because there were no options. Players weren't getting forward. They weren't trying to pull the Danish defence out of position. They weren't bossing things. And at times they were letting themselves get bossed by a Danish side that were clearly more hungry for the result than we were. And it's hard to think of a reason as to why that is. Those players should know by now what they're capable of. They're great players, and they need to remember that. But alas, I don't think that they're going to. Barring a sea change in approach by England against Slovenia in the final group match, we're probably going to bear witness to another very tame, very timid, very tepid display from those players. And I don't see anything other than perhaps a draw or a 1-0 win, which defies kind of the performance a little bit, because you'll probably feel Slovenia deserve something from the game. And then from there, whoever we face in the knockout stages will probably be rubbing their hands with glee, because they'll know that as soon as England score, they'll drop deep, very deep, to the point where virtually all of England's players will be just in front of our penalty area, which will afford the opposition all the time in the world to do what they want. It's baffling because, as I say, to begin with, in both games, England looked quite bright and quite sharp, and of course got some early goals in both games and were the better side. But then they just switched off, and it's I can't understand why that is. I can't understand if that's an instruction from the manager, or if that's something the players themselves have got themselves into a headspace of doing. But either way, it's just leading towards a legacy of failure once again. And it's very, very frustrating to watch when you know that these players are far more capable than they are displaying. It's very, very frustrating to watch. So I have to conclude, realistically speaking, at this point, that England have absolutely no chance of winning this competition. I would love to have egg on my face come the end. Of course I would. But I believe that we basically have absolutely no chance. I think that in the end, as soon as we come across anyone vaguely good, in fact, that's not fair, because Serbia and Denmark are not bad. But as soon as you come across one of the so-called top teams, we're going home. And that has to be the end of Gareth Southgate's time as England manager. I respect that he's got England, to a World Cup semi-final. I respect that he took England to a European Championship final. But he's gone backwards, and his philosophy is so negative when it comes to performances. And in the end, that's why we haven't been able to go the distance when it mattered. Because for whatever reason, we shrink into ourselves. And that is why we fail.